I didn't think that I would feel like I started the movie and I was like, this isn't that bad. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's not that bad. I didn't think by the end of it I feel like this is so crap. This is so stupid. There's so many things wrong with this movie. So many things. Like from just a filmmaking perspective. Not even like, oh, we hate Blake, whatever. Which I don't think that I hate Blake. This is just a terrible movie. Take Blake away. The creation of this movie sucked. I mean, maybe she kind of just hijacked the movie, and by hijacked I mean Paul just kind of gave her the movie to do whatever she wanted to do with it. Maybe. I wouldn't go that far to say that. I just think like he sucks. It's, like I can't even wrap my mind around creating the words, finding the words to express. Because I'm also, this is so late. It's 12:30, so I'm like there, but like there's literally no other words than this was stupid and it sucked. There is really no other words. Who liked this movie? I think whoever liked this movie liked it because they know Blake Lively, they don't know what's going on or don't care, or somehow they don't know what's going on. So they're on her side or just don't care. Um or they don't know, like I said. And so it's like, oh, it's Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick and Capri, and the music was nice. I do like the music, some of it, most of it. The songs, the music, the score. I like the beginning. The rest yeah. Filmmaking wise, the other thing that might make people like this movie is that it was different. And so they might be tricked into thinking, well, it's different. I've not seen that before, or, in a while, or whatever. So that makes it good because it's just different. No. Um, yeah, I think just the glitz and glamour of it, the idea of it. Maybe some people have some issues. Instead of going to therapy, they also feel like talking with a bunch of swear words is like, ooh, that's fresh. Ooh, feminism. Ooh, whateverism. Um, so that maybe that's also some reason. I really don't understand. I will say that the first half until when did it get like really stupid? Oh, it got really stupid when Emily Blake's character, one of them, rescued Stephanie, Anna's character. There were some outfits that I liked, some outfits that I didn't, and I also feel like she doesn't work with her body. There is nothing wrong with her body, but you need to work with your body, not against your body. So, besides that, because she doesn't have a waist, and the choices that she makes, because who here thinks that these weren't her choices, that someone dressed her, and no one. But the choices that she makes don't flatter her. They make her look like a rectangle. They don't give her a womanly body which you would think if she's such a feminist she would want. Anyways, she would want to embrace her womanhood. Besides that, but there were some outfits that were actually good. I actually really like some outfits. and I really hated some outfits. But that didn't steal or help the movie at all. Like that is just so like side talk. The other reason people might like this movie, let's see. I think it's just the marketing. Because, if you're in people's faces and you're marketing it like, oh, it's like so awesome and it's such a great movie, a lot of the people will believe you. So, I really don't know why they like this movie. I do think that Amazon Prime saying number one movie, I do kind of believe that because again, number one movie doesn't mean it is the most liked. It is number one because it is the most watched. Um, so probably people did watch it out of curiosity, like me, but oh, there are other ways to watch it. If you wanted to do that and not support them. Paul Feig was in it, and I was like, am I watching like a 48-hour film project that's just like glamorized? It's just like rich people's like, oh, I don't have anything to do, so let me make a movie and spend a bunch of like millions of dollars and yeah, make a movie. That's what this felt like. But yeah, the moment that it really changed, again, it wasn't a great movie to begin with, but it was salvageable, 100% salvageable at the beginning. Where it went wrong, in my opinion, where it took like, there's a scene in Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. And I remember just, I was in an acting class when I was younger, and that scene with the elevator, the way that it was described, that this elevator could go basically in like all sorts of different directions that you don't even think of. That's how this felt. It didn't feel like a right turn or a left turn. It felt like just a weird kind of impossible turn. And that was, yeah, when Emily rescued Stephanie. I was like, oh, okay. That was still okay. Still good. I was like, oh, Blake's acting. Blake's like normal. Okay, cool. And then she started telling the story. And let me recount. Where did we go? Oh, okay, sorry. Um oh yeah. Still salvageable, just bad acting. Although Michele was actually like, he's a good actor. The other guy, I don't know that much. He was emotional, that was good, I guess, but it seemed like he wasn't waiting. It seemed like he was waiting for the lines rather than acting in the present most moment. But besides that, so yeah, spoiler alerts, I don't know, whatever. um when she talked about um how, yeah, like it was, she was just like helping Dante and whatever his name to be together. Nothing wrong with that, cool, whatever. I know people who hate Blake might say like, ugh, that's so stupid, or that's so pathetic, or whatever, like she's a beard, whatever. I've heard that online. Excuse me. So I knew a couple of things that were coming, that, and then her like sleeping with herself. Except I didn't see that in this cut. I didn't see anything besides like just like suggestion of it. Anyways, But yeah, what was I? Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah, whatever. Like that wasn't that I didn't care about that story as like a story. Like great, okay, cool. Didn't really make sense. It wasn't really adding up. You know, when like even it ends with us when they went back and like, oh, this is what really happened. And maybe where that's where she got the idea, which might be like her stealing Justin's ideas and way of storytelling. But anyways, where she sorry, I'm like distracted because I'm so tired. I'm trying to stay awake to like give like a first thing. Where it went wrong was yeah, sorry, yeah, to end that. So yeah, and if when in it ends with us, she like when you go back, it makes sense, right? As if like they filmed it all the same, but they just edited differently. And then when you go back, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that was totally what happened. In this one, it was like that. Like, there were a number of things that were like, no, you filmed it with a different intent. And maybe this is more from like someone who knows acting to the little extent that I know acting, but it looked like they filmed and they acted with a complete different script, not with the script and not knowing like, oh, I'm not actually Emily in this scene. Oh, I'm not actually against Emily in the scene for the mom. Oh, I'm actually in love with him or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just disjointed that way. But whatever, again, little fish to fry on that one. But then when Michele whatever Dante, when Dante ran into the room bathroom, that was not a bathroom. Anyways, when they ran into each other's arms, that was overdone. That was like really weird. That wasn't emotional. Maybe this is why she works well with Paul because there is zero human emotion. Even Henry Golding's character, that was a tough one to watch. I don't know if they like did that on purpose because they hate him. I don't know because that's what it seemed like. They just really made him, gave him the worst lines, unless like the lines when he was with just Anna. That scene that was like, oh, okay, this is like an actual movie, real acting. Um, Again, it's not that, like I said, I don't think Blake is a bad actress. I think she definitely sucked in this. I think she didn't really act at all. Um, but anyway, I'm like all over the place. So, oh, um, so yeah, so I think that they just they don't know human emotion. Like I was saying, kind of with the Paladinos and Etoile and Mrs. Maisel and Gilmore Girls. It's like now some people just don't know how to like really tap into that vulnerably human emotion, aka love. um, Although like Etoile will see second season, but um, yeah, I mean they did. No, I take that back. I mean, also not comparable. Like they are. I'm not saying they are doing a bad job. I'm saying this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for even comparing it because they don't deserve that because they don't suck. I'm just saying like sometimes people just don't go vulnerable. And it was kind of weird because I felt like Michaela was like a really, or is a really good actor from everything else. So it was just like a weird way. And also maybe it was the editing. I don't know. It just kind of that sucked. Basically like you couldn't root for him or for him and his love. They didn't give you that as an audience, and that's so important. Moving on. that was still not the tipping point, but that was like a little bit like, oh, I don't like that. That sucked. But there were kind of a lot of moments like that leading up to that point. But the moment, it wasn't even when Charity showed up, and it was Blake and Charity and whatever. And they were, one moment Charity's shorter, the other moment she's just as tall. There were just inconsistencies galore when it came to Blake. There was no scene where she had consistency, where I feel bad for the continuity, the script supervisor. She should not, or he should not, I don't know, usually they're she's, but they should not get penalized for this, because I don't think it was their fault. But she just sucked at acting. She doesn't act. So in this one, so like every, when they would cut between different angles and different times that they had filmed it, it was like a whole different scene when you looked at her face versus everyone else. Everyone else was doing the same thing. They were still in the same scene, in the same state of mind, saying the same thing, reacting, the same reaction. Anyways, but yeah, so that wasn't in. Charity was an interesting choice. I do think that it was um different enough, to stand out. And I think that was a, I don't know, yeah, good choice. I don't know. It was not like, you don't want them to be the same. I know Stay also pointed out the mole. No twins have the same mole. That's, I think, kind of true, but small potatoes. It wasn't even when like she drugged or paralyzed Emily or Hope, whatever, and they were in bed and they were talking and whatever. And I knew what was coming. I hadn't seen or read or whatever that, she kisses herself, she sleeps with herself, something. Um, and that's when it hit me. Because at first I was like, okay, I knew this was coming, whatever, this is stupid. For some reason, when Charity started touching Emily, why was she wearing boxers? This woman needs so much help. Like Blake Lively needs so much psychological help. And besides that, um, so um, at first it was like whatever, yeah, I anticipated whatever. But then when she started like, I don't know, the last few seconds of that scene, where right before she got on top of Emily, I was like, why is this necessary? Why is this here? I guess it moved the plot along. I guess it made sense, at the end. Because, like, oh, love of her life, whatever. But, like, I don't know. You don't have to, like, romantically love your sibling to not want them to die. I can't really control my face right now. Like, I'm really like disgusted, not by that action even. I don't even care about the like the insinuation of what incest or whatever. I don't even care about that. Like, it's more just like the way that it was presented, and also why it didn't make any sense to add that. It's like a couple of things. Sorry, I take that back. Quite a few things felt gratuitous. Felt like they just added them for shock value or factor, because they didn't have a strong enough script and they suck at creating this movie. That's what it felt like. Like we just need, like the bird crashing into Stephanie's apartment or whatever window, which never went back on that. But I'm like, are we doing a whole um sci-fi movie now? Like, and I knew from that moment, I'm like, okay, that was the first moment that was a gratuitous, pointless, just for shock value kind of moment that didn't need to be there, didn't add anything to it, didn't make it better, and made it worse because it was just stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean lazy screenwriting, lazy filmmaking, lazy creating. It had zero necessity. It had zero to do with the movie. That particularly the bird. Um and then this whole like twin, you know, I almost want to say if you enjoy this movie, you need to get help. And not just because of that scene. Everything kind of that followed after that. If you at the end of the movie walked away thinking, oh wow, that was actually interesting. Oh, that was really weird. That was interesting. Like, you need help. And I'm not even joking. I would say like sick people like this, but yeah. It's interesting. I was watching earlier today, I started watching No Man of God, I think, because again, Luke Kirby. And then at one point during the movie, I'm like, I'm watching this crap to my friend. I'm watching this crap, and I could be watching that instead. And I can't believe that's a better movie. But or for me, I don't like being scared or violent. Or I mean, I don't know if that's violent, but I don't like stuff like that. But yeah, um, I forget why I brought that up. Oh my gosh, it's so late. Oh yeah. Because there was this line in that movie where he says he's so sick and basically, I'm paraphrasing, he's so sick and tired of, is it the feds, I think, or police or whoever, blaming basically blaming like mental health, or that you have to have some sort of complex, is what I think he said, like some sort of issue, that the regular human, the regular person, community member, society member, whatever, doesn't have. And I agree with that. I think there has been a lot of talk with all the shootings that go on in the US, that they had started blaming mental health, and then there were people that had done that were proven to not have a history of it, or anything diagnosable, anything that could lead to even that. And I kind of understand and stand by that. I think um we are all we all have issues, and we all, at least at one point in our lives, go through some mental health issue. And we all have a lot of broken pieces inside, because none of us, or maybe 1%, less than 1%, were raised perfectly. It's just kind of impossible to be raised perfectly. So everyone has something. And then even if you were raised perfectly, life happens, and it can like mess you up. 99% of the people don't even hurt a fly. Well, they probably hurt flies, but like human beings, they don't hurt human beings. They don't even like hit another human being ever in their life. So Having said that, um, blaming it on mental health is a scapegoat. It's something because we're like, oh, it has to be something that's like unusual that we can, count on um, to predict it, to keep safe. I mean, it's just like human, you know, primal brain 101 or whatever. Anyways, back to this movie. Um, yeah, I think calling this movie enjoyable only for sick people. Um, when I say sick people, I don't mean the 1%. I mean, you have some serious issues you need to deal with if you think any of this was, or like, these parts. I wrote so many notes, I'll go in depth, but certain parts of this, specifically after what I just explained onward, if you think that was enjoyable and witty, but that's like not for sick people, that's just like, you need some education. If you think this movie was witty, I mean, the lines, so. And interestingly enough, it was Blake's lines that sucked the most. Like, she had, like, there were moments when she literally said nothing. It just sucked. It was just bad writing. And it probably was her writing because we know the rooftop scene didn't sound very good. The stuff that she had. And so, yeah. And it's easy. It's not like, this is not rocket science, like to like, oh, what is it? If you like know enough, you can tell. I know that's like so easy to say, but again, it's like really late. I'll probably go into it more tomorrow or whatever. Oh gosh. But yeah, so that's when I was like, this is stupid. And then it just got worse. That's when it got worse because I'm like, okay, this was stupid, but again, they still could turn it around. Did they? No. No, they didn't. They teleported to this cliff. I guess maybe because they couldn't drive very well. They couldn't shoot a driving scene. I don't know, but he teleported there. I mean, it's just, there's not even much of anything to say. The one thing that I'll say is that I don't know that Bleak Lively, I mean, I know we're not supposed to say that, and I do mean that from the heart. Like, I don't think it's a good idea to like talk about mothers and how they mother and all that stuff, judge, criticize, etc. I hear you, Chrissy. Chrissy. um but I just can't help myself. Like, I don't see an ounce of motherly instinct in Blake Lively. Not with her real kids from the clips that I've seen online. Not with the poor child on It Ends With Us that she, like, the child just wanted, like a swing ride. And Blake looked so unnatural doing that. So, like, weird. Like, she didn't know how to talk to a toddler. I always would say that I don't like children, but I want children, and I love human beings. Like, but the children just scared me, and I always thought that other people's children, like, I just couldn't interact with them. But if you would put me in a scene where I would have to be a mother to this little baby, few months old, whatever, I don't know how old that baby was, and to put her on a swing and whatever, I would feel like I would have a lot more interaction. Like, I'm saying like behind the scenes, but even like when filmed, you know, like making her laugh or whatever. Like, she was trying, but she's like a robot when it comes to kids. And then in this movie, she didn't see her son for 5 freaking years in prison. She didn't see her son. Just watch how she greeted him. Like, it was the most superficial, zero emotion, like if like just empty reunion. And then she saw her deranged sister um do this live holding her son, which was like stupid. Now that I think about that scene, was also stupid, because why would Emily do a live for with her son? They just needed, to somehow, like, how can Emily and Stephanie see this, see Charity? Anyways, so holding her son, who was really kind of passed out or whatever, with scissors in hand, and she had killed a bunch of people already. And as a mom, you're just going to be like, oh, this is bad. Basically, that was her reaction. And then again, they teleport to where they were in the video or whatever. And the son is at gunpoint by her aunt, which also so creative. And Linda, try harder. As far as like the name Linda and Linda, every aunt Linda, like that's such a cliche. That's, yeah. And then then again, you haven't seen the son in 5 years. You love the son. Your own husband, who passed away or was passed away, your own husband said that you and your son are the only two things that matter to you. And yet you teleport, you find Aunt Linda holding your son at gunpoint, and you have zero emotion, zero reaction. Because this is the thing. You might be poker faced in a way or whatever, uh, but she wasn't, because her lines weren't poker faced lines. But let's say you would be. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Actors act. And so, like, poker face is still showing us how you feel. There was nothing. There was none of that. There was absolutely no love for her son. So yeah, and I don't know. I don't know where, Emily and whatever ends and where Blake begins, because not because she's such a great actress, but because she infused herself way too much in here. And the more we all have seen of her, and I mean, I've seen so much footage of Blake Lively being Blake Lively in interviews and things, that's when you start really seeing someone and you can call someone out, like, you're not acting here, you're just being you, or this or that. So yeah, she acted a few times in this movie, and I think she thinks she acted in the whole movie. But when you change your lines, and yeah, no, that's not acting. I'm sorry, that's not acting. Overall, this movie. Oh, and then CNN. What? I don't want to see her or Paul fight ever again. on screen. Like they should be alive. I feel like I keep having to say that, not because like anyone would believe that I could or do anything. Like I literally cry over like ants dying, you know. So um, but I'm just saying, like I just spiritually, I want to make that clear to the universe. Like I don't want harm to them. I just don't want them on our screens ever again. They suck as humans. We need good humans with a soul and a heart, and who want to lift society up, who want to lift us all up, who want to lift themselves up. We need good humans. We do not need terrible people like this. I'm sorry. This is just terrible. And I do not feel bad for Paul Feig one tiny second. It for sure doesn't help that he just keeps like supporting her and revealing so much against both of them as a result. You know, because that's the thing. The truth sets you free. And when you lie and when you deceive, you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know you're revealing the truth. So, but yeah, I don't feel bad for him. But like, why did he put himself in the movie? You know, I'm sorry, but you are nowhere near. I can't believe I forget his name. Alfred Hitchcock. You are nowhere near him. Not even close by a mile. Paul Feig. Nowhere near him. Um, that's what I think he was trying to do, because this is also, it's not in that style, but wanted to be in that style. And Alfred Hitchcock used to put himself in movies like cameo, like, you know, a person on the bus or whatever. And yeah, um, that's such a disgrace. Ah, and they used Toto Cotugno's most famous song. I feel like the most famous Italian song ever. Are you kidding me? Disgrace. Can I sue them to get that song out of there? Because he deserves better. I'm sorry. Don't ruin that man's legacy. Oh my gosh. Oh, that sucked. That was painful. But anyways, yeah, this was like just terrible. By the end of it, I said literally to my friend, uh, no, no more of these movies. No more favors. Stop the favors. I was so defeated. I'm like having fun now, but literally by the end of this movie, I was like just staring like this is such a waste, not only of time, not only of time of people who watch it, but of the makers of it. Such a waste of um money that could have gone to like victims of abuse, for example, or just any victim, any aid of any sort. um and to that note, where was the SH that supposedly happened? Like just a few months before shooting this movie, she had drawn out the 17-point list, or 10 point, however many points initially. And so as someone who was in the year before, less than a year before, because they started in summer 2023 and they filmed this in like no, they did, no, yeah, spring 2024, or spring summer 2024. But where was the SH effect? Because her nipples were out. I'm so sorry, but again, I don't know, until someone corrects me, like actual victims correct me, as someone who didn't even experience near, you know, something that I would call SH or SA, but just um uncomfortable, borderline harassment, but not really, you know, in the workforce or just in general, um basically unwanted attention. So I again, like I don't feel like it would be that. I did experience like SH or SA. I don't know exactly which one, honestly. When I was like younger and somewhere. Anyways, but it was like a second, of something. Anyways, besides that, and that one creepy like guy who like hugged me too much, I worked with one time. Anyways, so but like I'm sorry, I just would not want to be wearing tops that like there was no bra to them or no lining to them, like her flower top. Um, and what was the other? Oh, yeah, and then the nipples. Like I would just be mortified. I would literally like you feel physical pain in things like that. So, I want to be open minded that everyone reacts differently, but she's not demonstrating to be someone who was in any way, shape, or form harassed or assaulted at all. I don't know. But that's kind of beside the point of this movie. I really, when I started, I was like, I don't think I'll have much criticism. I think people are exaggerating. My friend was like, just wait, it gets worse. I'm like, I feel bad because I might not feel that same way. It might, um, no, I cannot believe that it is as bad as people say it is. Like, I really thought that it was bad just to people who don't like Blake. Um, I was ready for that, honestly. No, no. It was just a stupid movie. There was only one movie that was worse that I've seen so far, Nosferatu. But it was literally at that caliber. It was literally at the bottom of the bottomest of all the movies that I've ever seen. It's at the bottom percentile, or maybe even the second to last. I don't know. I don't remember. There had to be worse movies though. Oh, 50-year-old virgin or 40-year-old virgin. Yeah, but I didn't actually see the full of it. So it might be better than this. Probably not. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it's probably not the worst of the worst. Nosferatu was, um, but it was in the same style too. Of like, I use the word gratuitous to mean like this was for you, not for an audience. Whether it was, and I when I say that, I think of Paul, not of Blake, but maybe Blake too. Like this was not for an audience. This was not created. It was an art. It was an art. It wasn't anything. It was just to be vulgar. Nosferatu, the same thing. It was just vulgarity for no reason. Just like how people say, like how women say, I don't want to, they put it in their contract, I don't want to be naked unless it serves a strong purpose for the storyline. That's exactly the opposite of this movie. This movie was exactly the opposite of that. Like that's why I call it gratuitous. Like it was not earning itself any of no, like nothing, none of the swear words, or maybe like 1% of the swear words were earned. The twin thing wasn't earned. um so much wasn't earned. So anyways, yeah, can't believe I watched that. I had to, because The whole YouTube channel right now is, I had to, like, I could not watch this. And I was like curious. I don't know. Like, no, I wasn't that curious to watch it. But I tried to stay away from everything, everyone's reaction. The only one that I saw was Jersey's because I wanted to develop my own. I'm glad my friend didn't tell me anything, but it gets worse. Because yeah, I wanted to honestly react. And even so, like, there were parts of this that were absolutely biased to what we know of Blake Lively and just how terrible of a person she is and how Ryan. The other thing too is I don't understand. They need child services. This is a bold statement that might get me in trouble, might get me muted. Um, but I feel it's one of the things that I feel actually worried and like strongly about because they seem to be abusing. I mean, I don't know, children. First Inez, right? Inez, that's their own child that had do, even if it was like 7 takes instead of 500 or 700, however many, Ryan joked, said, but or whoever, but even just like 7 takes or 5 takes of what she was put to say in Deadpool, that's child abuse. I'm sorry. And then this, the same thing. It was kind of the same thing. And Blake just found it funny or whatever. And it's just, these people are the ones that should be kicked off the one charity that they support with children. They should be not let anywhere near children. They are horrible people. Like, they have deep, deep, deep freaking issues. They should not be anywhere near children. Definitely should not be raising children if this is what like they do. Oh my gosh. But maybe that's, just appearances, except these two instances were not just appearances. These actually happened. These are facts. But outside of that, we don't know how they are with their children. I don't know. Maybe they should have nannies if they don't, which they probably do. This is a good moment for nannies. Like, nannies will save these kids. I know those are strong words and we're not supposed to judge parents and mothers, but I'm sorry.